Today we're going to be talking about how to keep products cold when you're camping. So the reason we're talking about this today is because I had a comment on my motorcycle tour of Scotland, and it was from Gary A, and he asked, how do I keep my food cold when I'm camping? Now, it's quite a sensible and popular question, and I've got my own method which is a bit strange, which we'll move on to in a bit. But let's talk about the basics. So the first line of defence is the freezer bag. Now, a freezer bag obviously insulates hot or cold food, whatever you put in it, and stops it leaking out as fast as it would if it wasn't in a freezer bag. So a little tip from this is to store your bag in the fridge or freezer the night before you leave, and then take it out when you're filling up your goods. Otherwise you're going to be putting cold goods in, the bag will be at room temperature, and there'll be that slight difference of losing a few degrees early from where the bag's adjusting to the temperature of what's inside. So that's your first line of defence. The second line of defence is how you pack your bag. Now, I put refrigerated goods on the bottom and frozen goods on the top. And the reason for that is cold air sinks. So if I've got refrigerated goods on the bottom, the frozen goods, cold air will travel down from the frozen goods onto the cold refrigerated goods, which are usually about 4 degrees, and keep them much colder for longer. So basically the refrigerated goods will stay good and the frozen goods will slowly defrost throughout the day and the next day or two. So that's how I pack my bag. Of course, if you wanted to go one step further, you could freeze a bottle of water, so you'd have a bottle of ice and leave that in your bag, and then at the end of the day it's kept everything frozen, and of course you've got a bottle of water to drink at the end. And if you don't mind sacrificing your water, you can use salt water in the bottle instead. Obviously salt water freezes at a much lower temperature, and it will keep your goods colder for longer, so that's another option. But now we're going to get on to my method. Now, my method is to use Colt spray, which is freeze spray. I'm guessing that's a German translation there. It's from a company called Wycon, and basically whatever you spray this on will freeze. So as you can see there, there's a nice mist of cold air, and and whatever I spray that on will instantly freeze or become very cold. So the best way to freeze your products is to take some paper towel, wrap it around your goods, then wet the paper towel. So you've got, say like you have a can of beer, it's popular with everyone, a can of beer, you wrap paper towel around it and then you wet it. You then spray that wet paper with this and it will freeze the outside tissue. Now once that tissue is frozen, that will be conducted into the can, therefore making a very nice cold can of beer, or even potentially frozen if you use enough. So that's how I freeze my goods. Obviously with food, I keep it in sealed bags because I don't know if there's any harmful chemicals in that that's going to affect me if I eat it. So it's always best to be safe. I keep all my food bagged. But that's the methods I use for keeping my, my food cold on a camping trip. And I hope you found something in this video useful. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.